Today on the Happy House, I'm going to show you how to make my version of a cherry Dr. Pepper cake, as well as cherry Dr. Pepper cookies. Plus, we're going to have some fun with some decoupage, and I'm going to finally finish up a project I've been trying to do for almost 2 years. And then my home decor will be complete. You don't want to miss this, all right now on the Happy House. Hey guys, I'm just out on my balcony today enjoying this beautiful weather. Today's episode is the last episode of this season's The Happy House. A little while ago I was on this soda pop cake kick and I made a 7-Up cake, an orange Fanta cake, and a Dr. Pepper cake. And the Dr. Pepper cake was by far my favorite. So I'm going to show that recipe to you today. I also added my own little twist to it, but it was so refreshing and so delicious. Now, baking with soft drinks became popular in the South in the 1950s. And some experts speculate that the 7-Up cake took off because of the innovative way that it substituted carbonation for a leavening agent. Here's a popular guide that's been used to show which sodas pair best with which cake mixes. So I thought this was kind of funny. Coca-Cola goes with chocolate, Sprite goes with a yellow cake mix, Canadian ginger ale a carrot cake mix, Dr. Pepper red velvet cake mix, root beer a spice cake mix, cream soda a white cake mix, Mountain Dew a lemon cake, strawberry Fanta a strawberry cake mix, Sierra Mist a butter pecan cake mix, and Pib Extra a devil's food cake. Well, shall we get right to it? Here's my version of a Dr. Pepper cake. So you're going to buy a 2-liter bottle of cherry Dr. Pepper soda, and you're going to need 1 cake mix. You're going to make that cake mix according to the directions on the box. The only difference is you're going to substitute the water with the cherry Dr. Pepper. You're also going to add in 3/4 a cup of plain Greek yogurt. This is part of my little twist and what makes this cake so delicious. This is going to change the texture of the cake and the consistency, which is what makes it amazing. You're also going to add 1/2 cup of sliced or diced maraschino cherries. Then pour the batter into 2 round cake pans and bake according to the directions on the back of the cake mix box. Next, you're going to prepare the cherry gelatin, and you're going to actually use, instead of water, cherry Dr. Pepper. So in a small saucepan, you're going to bring 1.5 cups of cherry Dr. Pepper to a boil. When you bring that to a boil, remove the pan from the heat, turn off the stove, and stir in the gelatin until it's dissolved. Then, using a toothpick or a thin straw, or even a fork, whatever works for you, you're going to poke holes in the top of your cake about 2 inches apart, all over the top of the cake. Once you've done this, go ahead and pour your gelatin mixture evenly over the entire cake. You're going to do this to both cakes and then put them both in the refrigerator for 4 hours. Now I figured I was going to have leftover cake topping, which I'll show you how to make in a minute. So in advance, I went ahead and made some shortbread cookies. You can just search up any recipe for thumbprint cookies or shortbread cookies, and I was able to make cherry Dr. Pepper cookies and take them to an activity. Okay, so for the whipped topping, you're going to prepare a 6-ounce package of cherry jello mix according to the directions on the box. Put it in the fridge, and in the meantime, in your KitchenAid, take 2 cups of heavy whipping cream and go ahead and add to it a 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. This is going to give it more of a cherry flavor. Then you're going to add to that 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar. Go ahead and whip all of this together until you get a whipped consistency of whipped cream. When you have those stiff peaks, go ahead and set your whipping cream aside in the fridge. And then as soon as your jello is pretty much solid, You're going to take it out of the fridge and you're going to gently fold it into your whipping cream in your KitchenAid. Go ahead, turn it on, and begin to whip it again until the gelatin blends smoothly into the whipping cream. It's going to become a light pink color, just like this. During this time, I removed my cookies from the oven and allowed them to start cooling. Then I placed them in the fridge so they were nice and cold. Here's where the real twist comes in. I thought this recipe would be super delicious if I added a vanilla bean custard into the center filling. Real quick, I'm going to tell you how to make an easy vanilla bean custard. This shouldn't scare you. It's super easy to do. So, in a saucepan on the stove, before you turn on the heat, you're going to whisk together a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and an 1/8 teaspoon of sea salt. So go ahead and blend all of that together. Then you're going to whisk in 3 large egg yolks. So make sure you separate the egg yolks from the egg whites. Set aside the egg whites and you can use that later. I actually made my white cake batter from scratch because I prefer the taste of homemade over a boxed cake mix. So I set aside my egg whites and used them for the white cake mix. But you don't have to do this. It's so much easier just using a white cake mix, and honestly, it tastes pretty darn good. So go ahead and add in your 3 egg yolks and blend that together until your liquid is smooth. Then you're going to gradually whisk in 1 1/4 cups of whole milk. This is going to make it nice and creamy. Once you've done this, go ahead and add your vanilla bean paste. Now, I like to buy my vanilla bean paste from Amazon, so I will have a link down below if you want to try that out. Or you can simply just use a vanilla bean pod and scrape out the insides and add a vanilla bean paste from 1 vanilla bean into your sauce. After that, you're going to whisk that together, make sure it's nice and blended, and then you're going to turn on the stove to medium heat and continue whisking while your custard heats up. So you're waiting for it to bubble and thicken, and this whole process takes about 8 to 10 minutes. So make sure you're constantly watching it and stirring it so the bottom doesn't burn, because then you'll need to start over. So as soon as your custard thickens, you're going to continue stirring it for 1 more minute and then remove it from the stove and turn off the heat. Now, while it's nice and hot, you're going to stir in 2 tablespoons of butter and just stir it continually until the butter melts. Don't worry about straining the custard so that it looks nice and smooth, because you're simply going to put it in the middle of the cake as a filling, and so no one will be able to see any imperfections. Set the custard aside in the refrigerator so that it's nice and cold when you're ready to use it. Now, as soon as your cakes have been in the fridge for 4 hours and the gelatin has solidified, go ahead and take them out, separate them, and you're going to spread this custard filling on one of the cakes. That's going to be your bottom layer. Then you're going to add the second cake on top and make a sandwich. Then take your chilled whipped cherry topping and begin spreading it all over the cake. I like to start on top first, smooth that out, and then work my way around the sides. Now, before decorating the top of your cake with the maraschino cherries, you're going to actually take your remaining cherries and place them on a paper towel to absorb all of that liquid so you don't have cherry juices running down the top of your cake. And then go ahead and decorate the top of your cake with the cherries, just like this. Or create your own design and place your cake back in the fridge until you're ready to serve it. And trust me, the longer you let this cake sit in the fridge, the better it's going to taste. You give it that time to really let the ingredients set up and for the fillings to really solidify and thicken. It is amazing. Take the rest of your cherry whipped topping, put it in a piping bag, and go ahead and frost the tops of your cookies. Now they don't have to be perfect either because you're going to put a cherry on top of each one, just like this. When you're finished, put your cookies in the fridge so they can chill. These taste amazing cold. And there you have it, Dr. Pepper cherry cake with vanilla bean custard filling. This cake is super delicious. There's nothing quite like it out there, you guys, and I promise you, if you make this for your friends and family, they will never forget it. They might request it more than once, so be prepared. All right, there is nothing better, you guys, than cake, this kind of cake, that's been chilled in the fridge for over 24 hours. Look at how it's so smooth, so soft, it's cold, it's solid, it's not gonna crumble or fall apart. It's so perfect, so delicious. I'm just gonna eat it with my hands. Okay, so I went to Hobby Lobby like a year ago and I wanted something for this wall. It just needed something and it needed to pop. So I bought this, it was like a gray wood framed just piece of wood. I bought it, I painted it white and gold to go with all of the accents in our home. And we decided we would put pictures from our favorite trips, family pictures, throughout the years. We would Mod Podge them onto this. So it's been a project in the works for quite a while, and we finally found some family photos that I printed off, and I'm gonna go ahead and stick those on here. So let's see what happens. Okay, so I have printed these out. I have typed up on here the location and the year, and I just put them in order. And I spaced them out just so that it's even. And so what I'm gonna do first is I'm going to put a little bit of this glue. I have this one here. This is what I'm going to use today. It's a matted version. So I just don't like shine, I just like it to be matted. And then of course, if you do like gloss, you can get something like this that'll really give it that shine and reflection. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this on the bottom so that it will stick and hold in place. And once I have each of these pictures held in place, then I'm going to take my brush and dip it in here, and I'm just going to do even strokes all the way across. You don't want to mix it up and do vertical, horizontal, X's. That's not going to look good. You want the strokes to be even. So I'm just going to start way up at the top here and just brush across all the way till I get to the bottom. And then I'm going to let it dry and we should be good. To avoid lots of wrinkles in your picture, simply put glue right in the center and then press out towards the edges. And that way you'll have a smoother picture. There it is. Yay. It matches the rest of the house. We have black and white photos throughout the house upstairs. See, in our room, we have these pieces here. We have Utah and Germany. This is the town where Manuel's from. This is the lake in his hometown. And then of course, he printed this. We hiked to Arches National Park last year. So this represents Utah and Germany coming together to create our family, because Manuel's from Germany and I'm from Utah. It just completes the upstairs part of our house. And I added this mirror this weekend. So now we are complete, yay! And of course, this is my favorite piece right here. These are our hands. We did this mold for our 20th anniversary. I bought this for Manuel and we did it with the kids. They helped us. And we did this mold of our hands. So we'll always have that. It's so cool outside. It's been rainy. Temperatures dropped in the low 70s. This is my kind of summer weather. Thanks for joining me today, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful summer and I will see you next time.